The day my sister Rachel turned 18, the driveway looked like a scene out of a movie. There was a red BMW sitting in the sun, bow draped across the hood, my parents standing proudly beside it like they had just crowned her royalty. Neighbors gathered, clapping, phones out, recording her squealing as she jumped into their arms. I stood on the porch, my hands shoved into my pockets, trying not to let my face crack. I was the same age as her, just 10 months apart, but to them, I may as well have been invisible. "Happy birthday, sweetheart," Dad bellowed, slipping the keys into her hand. "You earned it." Mom kissed her cheek, gushing loud enough for everyone to hear. "Our shining star deserves nothing but the best. Please subscribe to our channel and tell us in comments from where are you watching this video." Rachel laughed, soaking in the attention, flipping her hair as she slid into the leather seats. The engine purred to life, the crowd cheered, and I just stood there, my chest hollow. When the noise died down, Mom finally turned to me. For a second, I thought maybe there would be something. A small gift. A word. Something to remind me I wasn't a ghost. She reached into her purse, pulled out a crumpled bill, and pressed it into my palm. A 5. "Here," she said flatly. "Don't say we never gave you anything." Dad smirked. "Go buy yourself a burger or something." The laughter that followed wasn't just from them. Even a couple of neighbors chuckled awkwardly. My ears burned, my throat thickened, and I fought the urge to throw the bill back in their faces. But before I could, Mom leaned closer, her voice sharp and cold. "Actually, you can do more than that. Pack your stuff tonight. You've been a burden long enough." My stomach dropped. "What? You're kicking me out?" Dad took a sip of his beer, his smile cruel. "It's called tough love. Rachel's the future of this family. You're dead weight. Time you learn to crawl on your own." Rachel honked the BMW horn, laughing. "Don't forget to leave my old room clean. Maybe I'll use it for a closet." I stood there shaking, the crumpled $5 bill sweaty in my hand. Neighbors looked away, embarrassed now, but not enough to step in. I wanted to scream, to demand why, but I already knew the answer. Because I wasn't Rachel. Because no matter how hard I worked, no matter how quiet I stayed, no matter how many times I tried to please them, I was always the shadow while she was the light. That night, I dragged my bag to the door. Mom checked the zipper like I was a thief. Dad tossed me a trash bag for the last of my things, and Rachel leaned against her BMW, scrolling her phone like she was watching a show. When I stepped outside, Mom's final words stabbed me deeper than the cold air. "Don't come crawling back when the world chews you up. Nobody wants you, remember that." Dad chuckled, locking the door behind me. $5 should be enough for your kind." The engine of Rachel's BMW roared as she pulled out of the driveway, almost clipping my knee on purpose, her laughter echoing into the night. I stood there on the curb, clutching my pathetic $5 bill, the home I grew up in behind me, its door slammed shut like I had never belonged. Tears blurred my vision, but underneath them something darker burned. I wasn't just leaving their house, I was leaving the version of me that begged for scraps. And one day, I promised myself as the BMW's taillights vanished into the dark, I wouldn't just take back what they owed me. I would take everything they loved. The first night on the street was colder than I ever imagined. I sat on the curb outside a convenience store, clutching the $5 bill they'd thrown at me, wondering if it would be smarter to spend it on food or save it for bus fare. Every car that passed reminded me of Rachel's BMW, shiny and smug, a symbol of everything I wasn't allowed to have. I ended up buying a stale sandwich and a bottle of water. That was my dinner. I ate it slowly, staring at the parking lot lights until my eyes burned. The following weeks blurred together. I bounced between couches at classmates' houses, but eventually even those doors closed. Parents whispered, "We can't take her in forever," while their kids avoided my eyes. I picked up shifts at a local diner, washing dishes until my fingers pruned, saving every tip, every quarter. Nights were the worst. Alone, lying on a park bench or in the back of the diner when the manager looked the other way, I replayed their laughter in my head, Mom's sneer, Dad's chuckle, Rachel's horn honking as if throwing me out was a game. But each replay hurt less and hardened more. Their words didn't echo as knives anymore. They settled like bricks, and brick by brick, I was building something. At the diner, I learned more than just how to scrub pans. I listened. Customers bragged about business deals, landlords complained about tenants, accountants spilled details after too many drinks. Information was currency, and I collected it all. On my breaks, I'd pull out a small notebook, the same one I had when I was 15, and jot down everything I remembered about my family. The property Dad bragged about but never paid taxes on. The jewelry Mom flaunted at parties but pawned when money got tight. The way Rachel posted every detail of her life online. What she bought, where she went, who she thought she was impressing. The more I wrote, the clearer it became their perfect life was hollow. The BMW payments alone would crush them if something went wrong. They had built their kingdom on sand, and all it needed was one good wave. One night after a late shift, I stood outside the diner, the city lights flickering. I held that notebook tight and whispered to myself, "They think they threw me away, but I'm the one writing their ending." I started saving faster, took double shifts, skipped meals, walked instead of paying bus fare. Every dollar went into a secret envelope tucked into the lining of my bag. Slowly, it grew. $50, $100, $500. The pain of their betrayal never left, but it fueled me. Every blister on my hands was a reminder. Every rumble in my stomach was a promise. I wasn't just surviving anymore. I was preparing. Because when the time came, I wouldn't just knock on their door begging for a place at the table. I'd walk in, take the table, and leave them with nothing. By the time I turned 21, the girl they had thrown out with $5 in her pocket was gone. I had scraped, hustled, and clawed my way into stability. The diner job turned into a managerial role. From there, I picked up bookkeeping work on the side, and suddenly, the same math my dad had always mocked me for was making me money. I didn't just survive, I built myself. But I never forgot my promise. One evening, scrolling through Rachel's endless stream of selfies with her BMW, I saw the crack appear. She posted a picture captioned, "Daddy says the bank is a nightmare, so stressful. At least I have my car to cheer me up." Stress, bank, nightmare. I knew those words too well. I dug deeper. Using the contacts I'd built from bookkeeping, I got my hands on public records. And there it was. Their mortgage was overdue, property taxes unpaid, loans stacked higher than their arrogance. The BMW wasn't fully theirs, neither was the house. They had thrown me out, laughed in my face, called me worthless all while their perfect world was hanging by a thread. And I had the scissors. Step one was Rachel. Her BMW was her crown, her pride. Through one of the mechanics who came to the diner, I learned the financing company was hunting for missed payments. It didn't take much for me to drop an anonymous tip, complete with the VIN number she had carelessly flaunted online. 2 weeks later, I stood across the street and watched as a tow truck hooked up her shiny red car. Rachel came running out barefoot, screaming, mascara streaking down her face. "Dad! Mom, they're stealing my car!" But it wasn't theft. It was repossession, the world's cruel reminder that paper crowns don't last. Step 2 was the house. I sent copies of every document I'd collected to their smug circle of neighbors. The foreclosure warnings, the unpaid taxes, the lies they'd bragged through backyard barbecues. Within days, whispers turned to stares. Invitations stopped. Their kingdom of status collapsed. I didn't stop there. I walked back into that house one final time, not as a daughter, but as the storm they created. Dad was sitting in his chair, hollow-eyed, bills spread across the coffee table. Mom was pacing, her phone buzzing with no one answering. Rachel sat slumped, pale and quiet for once. Dad looked up, his voice hoarse. "What do you want?" I held up a crisp $5 bill the same way Mom had once shoved one into my palm. I tossed it on the table. "Don't say I never gave you anything." The silence was sharp, suffocating, their faces twisted, pale with the weight of realization. "You gave my sister a BMW," I said, my voice steady, "and you gave me $5 in the street. You kicked me out like trash. Now you've lost the car, the house, and your precious reputation, and I'm the one still standing." Mom's lips trembled. "You wouldn't." "I already did." I cut her off. For the first time in my life, I saw fear in their eyes. Not the fear of losing me, they never cared about that, but the fear of losing everything they thought made them superior. I turned for the door. "Enjoy the $5. It's more than you left me with." And I walked out, not looking back. Behind me, their world collapsed. The repossession trucks came again, this time for furniture. The whispers of the neighbors turned to ridicule. Rachel became a punchline, not a princess. I had taken everything they loved, not with fists, not with screams, but with the truth they buried and the pride they weaponized. And for the first time, I wasn't the kid clutching a crumpled bill on the curb. I was the one holding all the cards. Please subscribe to our channel and tell us in comments from where are you watching this video.